Hello and Assalamualaikum. We are students from AM23855 and today we will be presenting our documentary entitled Cost of Mega Projects in Malaysia, Economic Boost or Fiscal Burden. We hope this documentary will give a better understanding whether mega projects are really beneficial for Malaysia's future. Thank you and enjoy the documentary.
Over the past few decades, Malaysia has experienced rapid economic and infrastructural development through the implementation of mega projects that are worth billions of ringgit. Projects such as the Mass Rapid Transit (MRT), East Coast Rail Link (ECRL), Tun Razak Exchange (TRX), and Bandar Malaysia reflect the government effort to modernize the country, enhance connectivity, and strengthen its economic competitiveness. Mega projects are defined as large and complex infrastructure or development initiatives that require substantial financial investment, long-term planning, and high level of coordination. In Malaysia, these projects play a crucial role in national development, with the construction sector acting as a key driver of economic growth and productivity. This development aims to stimulate economic activity, create employment opportunity, and attract both local and foreign investment. However, despite their potential benefit, mega projects are often associated with significant challenges, particularly in terms of financial management. Many construction projects in Malaysia experience cost overrun and delays, with less than half being completed within their allocated budget and time frame. In some cases, project costs increase substantially beyond initial estimate, raising concern about inefficiency and financial sustainability. As a result, debate continue regarding the true impact of mega projects in Malaysia. While these projects are intended to act as catalysts for economic growth, they may also contribute to fiscal pressure due to high costs and implementation issues. Therefore, this documentary examines whether mega projects in Malaysia primarily serve as an economic boost or whether they impose a fiscal burden on the nation.
Over the years, Malaysia has introduced several mega projects to support economic growth, improve connectivity, and modernize the country's infrastructure. One of the major projects is the East Coast Link or ECRL, which was announced in 2016. It is a visionary project that aims to transform Malaysia's transportation landscape, connecting the vibrant East Coast states of Kelantan, Terengganu and Pahang with the bustling Greater Klang Valley region. The total cost is 74.96 billion ringgit, which consists of 50.27 billion ringgit for construction costs and other development costs amounting to 24.69 billion ringgit. The ECRL is designed to improve passenger mobility and freight efficiency, linking the underdeveloped East Coast with the industrial West Coast. The railway includes 20 stations and it is expected to reduce travel time between Kota Bharu and Gombak to around 4 hours. The project is also seen as a catalyst for regional development in tourism, oil and gas, agriculture and logistics. Another major project is the Bandar Malaysia project, which was announced in 2011 under former Prime Minister Najib Razak. The project was funded through One Malaysia Development Berhad or 1MDB and planned as a major business and transportation hub in Kuala Lumpur. Bandar Malaysia aims to serve as a central transport hub integrating MRT, KTM commuter, express rail link and the proposed Kuala Lumpur Singapore high-speed rail. The total cost of this project is 140 billion ringgit and the development includes housing for 220,000 residents, 10,000 affordable homes, public parks and commercial zones. Although the project was envisioned as a smart and green city, it has experienced repeated delays and ownership issues. Lastly, the Tun Razak Exchange or TRX is one of the mega projects that was conceived in the early 2010s as a part of Malaysia's ambition to establish an international financial centre IFC. With infrastructure spending of around 3 billion ringgit and an estimated gross development value of 40 billion ringgit, TRX aims to attract multinational corporations, financial institutions and investors, positioning KL as a global financial hub. Officially launched in 2024, TRX is now home to major corporations such as HSBC, Prudential and Affin Bank, while also creating employment opportunities for over 30,000 people. To conclude, these mega projects demonstrate Malaysia's ambition to achieve economic progress and national development. However, their massive cost and implementation challenges continue to raise questions about whether these projects truly benefit the country in the long term.
Although mega projects are introduced to support development and economic growth, many of them are also associated with serious issues and controversies. One of the main issues is cost overruns and project delays. Large infrastructure projects often exceed the original budget due to design revisions of changes, delays, inflation, poor initial estimates and weak project management. A clear example is the East Coast Rail Link or ECRL. The project was initially estimated to cost around 65.5 billion ringgit, but concern over high cost and financial sustainability later forced the government to renegotiate the project to approximately 44 billion ringgit. The ECRL, which is designed to connect the east coast of Peninsular Malaysia to the Klang Valley, also faced challenges such as scope changes, complex engineering works and high financing costs. Another major issue is the increase in public debt and financial burden. Mega projects are often financed through loans, especially from foreign lenders, which increases national debt and creates long-term repayment obligations. If the project does not generate enough revenue, the government must use public funds, which is the taxpayer money, to repay the debt, reducing funds available for other sectors. One of the biggest examples is the One Malaysia Development Berhad or 1MDB scandal. The company accumulated billions of ringgit in debt linked to large-scale investments and mega projects, creating serious fiscal pressure on Malaysia. When the fund failed to generate expected returns and faced serious mismanagement issues, the Malaysia government had to take responsibility for repaying the debt. There is 51 billion ringgit debt and the government has paid over 43.8 billion ringgit in 2023. The balance is around 5 to 9 billion ringgit in 2025.
Another issue linked to mega project is corruption and abuse of power. In some cases, projects may be approved not because they are necessary for public benefit, but because they benefit certain political or business group. It shows that fund may be misused, contract may be awarded unfairly, and project costs can become inflated. The 1MDB scandal became one of the most controversial financial scandals in Malaysia and affected several mega projects including the ECRL and Tun Razak Exchange or TRX. This project faced controversy because concerns were raised over the misuse of funds, high project costs and decisions that may have been influenced by political interests rather than public benefit. As a result, public money is wasted, public trust in government institutions declined, investor confidence weakened and Malaysia's international reputation was affected. Lastly, weak governance and policy loophole also contribute to problem in mega project. Some projects proceed with limited transparency and weak monitoring system. In certain situations, procurement and tender process are not fully open or competitive, allowing contracts to favor selected companies. A major example is the Port Klang Free Zone or PKFZ project. The project was introduced to transform Port Klang into an international logistic and trade hub. However, instead of becoming a successful development project, PKFZ became a major financial controversy. The project cost increased from around RM 1.8 billion to over RM 12 billion due to poor governance and political involvement, and this issue highlight how weak governance can lead to poor decision making, lack of accountability and misuse of public funds.
For this section, we interviewed two experts to better understand the impact of mega projects on fiscal sustainability in Malaysia. The experts were Madam Nur Azlin and Encik Firdaus. The first expert we interviewed was Madam Nur Azlin. We first asked her how she defines a mega project and why these projects are carried out despite their high costs. According to her, a mega project is a large development project that requires a high budget, takes a long time to complete, and involves many stakeholders. Examples include the MRT, ECRL, highways, and airport projects. She explained that these projects are important because they improve transportation, create jobs, attract investors, and support economic growth. When asked about the financial risks, Madam Nur Azlin highlighted cost overruns, project delays, and increased government debt due to heavy borrowing. However, she stated that if projects are managed properly and provide long-term economic growth, they can still be worthwhile investments. She also suggested conducting proper feasibility studies, improving transparency, strengthening project monitoring, and increasing the use of public-private partnerships to reduce financial burdens. The second expert we interviewed was Encik Firdaus. We asked him about water mega projects in Terengganu and their impact on government finances.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. So for your question, I see a quite nice question. So first question is define a water mega project in Terengganu. So for your info, in Terengganu, a mega project often involved in interbasin water transfer or the construction of the massive water treatment plant or dam like Kenyir Dam. So what the pursuit dam despite a cost? We know this project is quite expensive. So in terms of industrial demand, especially in Kemaman, is a must demand for the industrial, especially in water, because it's use a very large volume of water, uninterrupted volume of water for the usage. The climate resilient, we know in Terengganu currently for a few times in the year is a flooded monsoon season. So it's about the mitigating flood, similarly storing water for the dry season in the early of the year. And outermost is the non-revenue water reduction, replacing 1,000 kilometers of aging, leaking, asbestos cement pipe is a multi-billion ringgit. It's an invisible project. If we see the ROI is not quite, but it's for the better use of the NRW program.
Encik Firdaus explained that water mega projects include large water treatment plants, dams, and water transfer systems. These projects are important because they provide a stable water supply for industries, help manage floods during the monsoon season, and reduce water shortages during dry periods. Regarding financial risk, he explained that water infrastructure projects require very high spending while water tariffs remain low. As a result, revenue is often not enough to cover all costs. To improve sustainability, he recommended better water resource management, gradual tariff adjustments for large industries, and stronger investment in modern technologies such as smart water grids to reduce water loss. Finally, Encik Firdaus agreed that water mega projects can increase national debt. However, he described them as productive investments because they support industrial growth, public health, and economic development. In conclusion, both experts agreed that mega projects can create financial challenges and increase debt. However, with proper planning, effective management, transparency, and sustainable financing methods, these projects can bring significant long-term benefits to Malaysia's development.
Although mega projects in Malaysia face many challenges, several solutions and improvements can be implemented to ensure this project provide long-term benefit to the country. One of the major issues discussed earlier is cost overrun and project delay. To reduce this problem, the government should strengthen the implementation of public-private partnership or PPPs and rigorous value engineering, instead of the government absorbing all the financial hazard of complex engineering. PPP contract must be designed to achieve a significant portion of operational and financial risk to the private sector. At the same time, mandatory value engineering must be conducted prior to final approval to strip over designed and unnecessary element of the initial estimate. This approach has already shown positive results in Malaysia during the review of projects such as the LRT3 and MRT2, and value engineering successfully reduced billions of ringgit in project costs. Besides, the solution for high debt and financial burden is by enforcing the Public Finance and Fiscal Responsibility Act, or FRA. The Ministry of Finance has actively begun utilizing the Public Finance and Fiscal Responsibility Act 2023 to establish strict fiscal guardrails. According to 2024 Ministry of Finance statement, the government is leveraging this act to cap government guarantee and continuously monitor the debt service charge (TSC) to revenue ratio, ensuring it does not exceed 15%. This helps ensure that government spending remains sustainable and does not place excessive pressure on taxpayers. Other than that, to address corruption and abuse power, Malaysia should strengthen the open tender system for all mega projects and abolish direct negotiation for large-scale infrastructure. It's because, based on the past estimate by former Auditor General and the MACC, it indicates that up to 30% of the value of Malaysia public project has historically been lost to mismanagement and corruption, largely facilitated by directly negotiation and limited tender. Independent bodies such as Malaysia Anti-Corruption (MACC) should also be given stronger authority to monitor project procurement and financial management. Experts believe that open and competitive bidding is one of the most effective ways to reduce corruption, prevent misuse of public funds, and restore investor confidence. Last but not least, weak governance and policy loophole can be improved through enactment and strict enforcement of the Government Procurement Act (GPA). The Government Procurement Act should be fully enforced by ensure all procurement processes are transparent, accountable, and properly monitored. To prevent projects like PKFZ from bypassing regulatory control through policy loophole, procurement rules must be elevated from standard government circular into parliamentary law. This creates a statutory framework requiring mandatory transparency, tight approval threshold, and personal legal liability for controlling office who mismanage funds. Therefore, mega projects can continue contributing to Malaysia development if they are supported by proper planning, transparent governance, strict financial control, and strong accountability system. By implementing this improvement, Malaysia can maximize the economic benefit of mega projects while minimizing their financial and social risk.
In conclusion, mega projects such as the ECRL, MRT, PRS, and Bandar Malaysia have contributed significantly to Malaysia's economic development by improving infrastructure, connectivity, investment opportunities, and job creation. These projects have the potential to strengthen Malaysia's competitiveness and support long-term economic growth. However, several challenges have emerged, including cost overruns, project delays, increasing public debt, corruption, and weak governance. Cases such as 1MDB and PKFZ demonstrate how poor financial management and lack of transparency can create substantial fiscal burdens on the government. Therefore, mega projects can be both economic boost and a fiscal burden, depending on how effectively they are planned, financed, and managed. To ensure positive outcomes, stronger governance, transparent procurement processes, fiscal discipline, and effective risk management are essential. Proposed measures such as Public-Private Partnerships (PPP) and the Public Finance Fiscal Responsibility Act (FRA) and open tender system can help improve accountability and reduce financial risk. Fiscal consolidation is achievable if mega projects are implemented responsibly, with a focus on value for money, sustainability, and long-term national benefits.